What's up guys, welcome back to the Vault Pro Scooters. My name is Walter and we have a treat for you today in today's video. As you can tell in the title below, we're gonna be looking at the top 5 2021 budget street decks. So before I get into the top 5 decks, these are the decks that aren't on sale. So like if you're like in the comments below being a keyboard warrior, you're like, oh well the NV yada yada deck is only $99. It's because it's on sale. This is MSRP, so how much the deck came out for and how much we sell them for regularly with no discounts or anything added. So let's go ahead and get into the first deck. All right, so the first deck we're gonna be looking at is the District MYTHOS. It says MYTHOS. If you don't know what District is, I mean, you know what it is now, but District has been around as long as I've been scootering. Their original logo was super sick. It had like a little sad face in it, but like District decks didn't break ever, like ever. I used to see kids when I was younger have cracks. I went from here to here and they were still riding them strong. One of my actually really good friends, Nolan, would only ride District decks because how long they lasted. This deck is gonna be retailing at $149.95, which personally is a great price. So it is gonna be 5.7 wide by 22.8 long, which is pretty big. $150 at that like length and width, you can't beat that. All right, so this deck is not super heavy. It weighs 3.9 pounds. It has a head tube angle of 83 degrees. If that matters to you guys, some of you guys are very technical and very specific on like the head tube angles you guys like. I see it in store sometimes. Me personally, just if I like the deck, I'll just throw it on. I don't even know the head tube angles of like the decks I've ever really ridden. But yeah. So what's really cool about this deck for the price as well is you can actually run the biggest wheels on the market, pretty much. You can run 125 millimeter wheels, so how big it is by 30 wide, so that's how wide it is. You cannot run 12 standard though. This deck comes in raw and trans black. Trans black is gonna be the color I have here, and raw basically take all the paint off and that's the color of it. So we are done with deck number 1. Let's go ahead and get into deck number 2. Actually, before I get into deck number 2, let's actually read some comments from some previous videos. So if you wanna possibly get your comment in the video, just comment down, and then you might see your name pop up on the screen. Alrighty, so the first comment is gonna be from the Big Shoe Game of Scoot. That was between Austin and I, and his comment is from Finn Truman. He says, I love how Capron crashed in the background. And then I got 1 thumbs up. Cha-ching. Yeah, it was actually pretty funny. I think I was like, touchdown, if I can remember. It was funny.
Oh, people. Jeez. Touchdown.
Kind of like been scootering for longer than most of you guys have been alive, so he kind of just knows how to fall and roll. It's great. But that's comment number 1. We got like 6 comments on here for me to read for you guys. So let's go ahead and get into deck number 2 before I go on to the next comment. Deck number 2 is gonna be the Native Stem deck. And this one is in raw. So it's pretty much raw. This is like a brushed raw though. It's not like a solid raw. It has like the metal, it's hard to explain. I think through camera, I don't think you guys will be able to quite see it, but if you know what I'm talking about, then sick. All right, so this deck is 5.25 in width and it comes in 2 lengths. So length number 1 is gonna be 20.5 and then the second length will be 22. So it's gonna be a little bit longer, about 1.5 inches longer. It does make a big difference. So it comes with a plastic fender. It's not like a regular brake. You can like switch them out because it has the 2 holes on the top. So you can either run a regular brake or just this basic raw fender. So this deck is gonna be a little bit lighter than the previous one. This one weighs 3.5 pounds, which is actually like, in my hands, it doesn't feel heavy at all. I actually really like this deck as well because it has like a solid flat bottom. So this deck has a head tube angle of 82.5. Like I said about the previous one, I don't really know like the differences in all of them. It's clearly just the degree of the head tube. Voila. But this deck comes in 2 colors as well. It comes in raw and then just like a regular solid black. So the max wheel length and width you can run on this is gonna be 120 millimeters big by 24 millimeters wide. And it retails for a whopping $144.95. And then, you can add like a discount to it and get that price down a little bit. If you live in, California, you get taxes off. If you don't live in California, then you just save some money, That is deck number 2. Let's go ahead and read 1 more comment for you guys. And after that, let's get into deck number 3. Alrighty, gamers. Alrighty, this one is from Justin Evans _907. So I'm assuming you live in the area code of 907, wherever that is at. He said, Walter was salty. I actually wasn't salty. I was really mad that I lost and got this close to a trick. And I guess that's kind of being salty. No, there's a difference. I look at salty and mad differently and like frustration. Salty is like, You could take it like however you guys want, but like salty is when you're just in general just mad and like in a bad mood because you lost, but like never mind. I'm just gonna cut that all out. It's clearly gonna be in the video, but like I wasn't salty, I was more mad. If like that makes sense to any of you guys there at home. But yeah, I lost on something I almost did, but I'd never done that before. That makes sense. And my feet were also killing me. That's number 2. Actually, I don't like that comment. I'm gonna read another one. Now I'm salty. All right, from Scooter God, comment number 2. This one says, what ice cream was that? I honestly don't remember. I just remember it was like a vanilla cone. I had like the chocolate in the bottom, you know what I'm talking about? I just took a bite from Julian, but that's all I got. Now that deck number 2 is all done, this was the native stem deck. Let's go ahead and move on to deck number 3. Alrighty, so deck number 3 is gonna be the Wise Signature, the Martin Andre. This deck's actually pretty nice because it has this cool little like wolf graphic on the bottom. Reminds me of my homie Branson's tattoo. And it has his name at the top. It is Wise, kind of like reminds me of an AZTEK deck. The original one when it had like the white on the head tube, always loved that look. So this deck is matte black, has this really nice white design, kind of like the original AZTEK Lindworm. It only comes in matte black because it is a signature deck. This deck is actually gonna retail for $139.95, so it's not that bad. It's not as wide as the other ones though. So this one is gonna be 4.9 wide. It comes in 2 different lengths. It's gonna be 22 or 23. Not bad. Actually doesn't weigh that much either. So this deck weighs 3 pounds and 12 ounces. The back has like these integrated pegs. So it's squared off, but what those pegs do in the back helps you with kind of like 5-0s and stuff like that if you could do those. I can't if you've seen the Big Game of Shoe video. That's how I lost. Alrighty, so this head tube angle on this deck is gonna be 84 degrees. Like I've said it before, I don't really know the difference, but yeah. So the back with this deck can fit 125 millimeter wheels max by 24 wide. So you can't fit the really big 30s on here or 12 standard. But honestly, nowadays, you don't really need the super wide ones. You just need some wheels to get you rolling. And this deck isn't super flat on the bottom either. So it has like these little kind of like grind rails. So it's more in here where you wouldn't be grinding on. If you're doing like a board side, you're just kind of on here and here. Dang, my nails look bad. So this deck's gonna be $139.95 without any discounts. So that is it for deck number 3. Let's go ahead and move on to deck number 4, which is gonna be the AZTEK SIREN deck. This deck is sick. I know a little bit about this deck just from seeing it so much. I know Andy, clearly you guys remember Andy. He loves this deck and swears by it. So this deck is gonna be 6 wide. So for those of you guys who are balling on a budget, this deck is only gonna be $119.95. Wait, is that right? Damn, this deck is only $120. You can't beat that. It's 6 wide and it comes in 2 lengths. It comes in 22 and 23. And then if we have the matte black color, which is personally my favorite because you just can't beat black. And then the second color it comes in is gonna be silver. So it's gonna be like the previous deck. It's just like that raw color. This deck comes in a 84-degree head tube angle. I ride the Jake Sorensen, so I'm assuming it'd be the same head tube angle. I'm not 100% sure, but 84 feels nice. I mean, it helps with manuals, I believe, because it's more like straightforward. But don't quote me. This is just my personal opinion and what I think I know. But what's cool about the back of this deck is you can run 30 wides, 125 by 30 wide wheels, which is pretty good. It's what I actually do ride. It's really nice. Comes with the spaces for it. Axles are red. Brake bolts are red. Kind of always like the red accents. Looks really nice. This deck on the bottom, it looks fully flat, but it's actually not. So it has like before, basically when you're grinding, you're only gonna be grinding on like what you see here. And in the middle right here, it's a little flat. It's not 100% flat. It's kind of concave. All right, so that's it for this deck. Actually, before I move on to the next one, what's really cool if you guys could see this, is it has these little grooves on the inside of the head tube, and that helps if you have a headset in there and you can't get it out. You could like fit a flathead through those little grooves and it's easy to tap them out. Whenever like a kid comes in and gets one of these decks, he's switching headsets or anything, lifesaver. So any other companies watching this, do something like that, please. But before I move on to the last deck, let's go ahead and get a couple more comments read. This one is from Brandon _. He said, damn, I really don't like Julian. Why, Brandon? Is that your name again? Yeah. Why, Brandon? Please let us know. Julian is a character, you either love him or you don't love him. Sometimes he's a bit much to be around, but I met Julian actually through Fortnite. I didn't even know him like personally before. We played Fortnite and then I realized he lived super close. He scootered and we started hanging out. We just had mutual friends. So that's how we got in the lobby. But that's really funny. He's a good guy sometimes. Let's read one more comment before we move on, and then after the last deck, we'll read one more because I got 2 left. You guys really need Caper and Funk to do a custom build. I see the Charizard Tesla in the background. Yeah, so Capron is like, I tried getting him to do a custom. He has an extremely busy schedule. He has a family, he has a little boy he's raising, he has his lizards, his streaming. Like, if he ever has time where he could squeeze us and do a custom in between all of his crazy busy life, then I'm sure he will, but I've asked him and he said if he ever has free downtime, he'll let me know. He's on a camping trip. If he wasn't camping, I would have called him. But yeah, that is it for deck number 4. Let's go ahead and move on to deck number 5. So for deck number 5, this is gonna be the #1 cost efficient deck. This is gonna be the AZTEK fountain deck. So this is the silver. The last deck was black. Here's the silver option. The bottom graphic, I love. It has like, it's a man holding up the world, or holding up like a globe, I think. I forgot what this is originally from, but I'm just gonna go with that. And then you got like a building in the background. I love the graphic. When this first came out and I saw this graphic, I wanted one just because of that. But yeah, so this is the silver AZTEK fountain. So this deck is 5.5 wide and it is 21 long, and it's only gonna cost you $100, $99.95. This deck weighs only 3.9 pounds and it has the same head tube as the previous deck, which is gonna be 84 degrees. This deck doesn't have the little grooves on the inside. That could also be to save weight, but I like using it to get the headsets out because it works. This is nice. The max wheel size that you could ride on the back of this deck is gonna be 120 by 24, so that's just a standard wheel. And same thing like before, it has the red axles, red spacers, red brake bolts. This deck does come in 2 colors. It comes in silver and it comes in black, so you gotta choose what you would like. So this deck is only $100 and it's an AZTEK. So you know when you're buying AZTEK, you get like the good quality. It's not gonna break in like a week. It's gonna last you. If you've broken an AZTEK, don't go in the comments like, oh, maybe you ride different than the average kid, but like this deck working in the front of the store, I hardly see them break. $100 though, like you can't beat that. I wish back in the day, like the average deck that I paid was about $150 when I would get like an aftermarket deck. I remember I bought a Phoenix Reventon when it came out. If you don't know what that is, a really old deck. That deck was $220 and it was smaller than this. It was like 4.75 by 21, if I can remember the spec of the deck I got. But for $100, 5.5 wide, you cannot beat that. That is it for the top 5 budget decks. We do have one more comment to read, and Austin set up all the comments, so I'm reading these and you guys find out with me. Let's go ahead and see what the final comment is. My feet are bigger than Austin's. That is true. Austin does have very baby feet. He shops at the youth section, so he does get shoes at a discount. Guess what? I don't want to tell him, but I'm a little young. Yeah, my newborn baby brother had bigger feet than Austin, if that tells you something. He wears like a size like 3. I'm gonna take this deck off because this is the last one. So there you guys have it for the top 5 budget decks. Now, just because these decks aren't super expensive, like 200, 250, 360, you know, doesn't mean the quality's like, you guys are gonna be like, oh, well, the quality's not all there. If it costs that much, it's only $100, you pay for what you get type vibe. No, it's not true. I know 3 people that ride 3 of these decks and they have no problems with it. They love them, they swear by them. I mean, Andy Peterson rides one of them. Julian, the kid that Brandon didn't like, he rides one of them. And then the district, a buddy of mine rides, and they love them. So take that all, you know, however you would like. If you're looking for a deck that's like wider than what you're riding and you can't really afford the crazy $250 deck, then maybe one of these decks will be for you. All right, so real quick before I do go, if you guys wanna see any of the decks specifically and you're too lazy to like search it up through our website, if you go to the, you know, the description down below, you click the little drop down, there will be links to every single deck in the order that I set them to make it that much easier on you guys. And these decks aren't on sale, so like if you find any coupon codes out there, you can go ahead and add it to your order, get them a little cheaper, and you're always winning. There you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. If I missed anything, Austin missed anything, let us know in the comments down below. We do read everything. Let us know what else you wanna see, any other videos you wanna see, because we do read every single comment. And I'm in this video, so that means I'm gonna read every single comment as well. And I comment back to most of you guys if it's something nice. But if not, until next time, please make sure you like, follow, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I will see you guys soon.